Hello and welcome everyone to a new video here at Comaik. Today, I want to prepare my lawn robot for the winter and store it away. How I do the whole thing, what I do with the lawn robot. You will see what happens with the charging station right here in the video. Stay tuned for more updates. It is undoubtedly the last weekend of September. Today is September 30th, 2019. I have already taken care of my pool in the week has been made winter ready. Now it's the lawn robot's turn. The lawn robot has spent the entire season outside and is now to be put away for the winter. He is to be prepared for the winter. He will spend the winter in the basement. I also need to prepare the charging station for the winter. Let's see how I approach the whole thing. First, a brief note. The lawn robot last operated 3 days ago. As you can see, it is quite dirty. It is full of grass clippings because it started to rain during the ride. Everything absolutely needs to be cleaned today. The lawn robot has been in the charging station for 2 days and is fully charged. This is an important requirement for him to survive the winter well. First, I take the lawn robot out of the garage. If you look at the underside, pretty dirty. I let the grass clippings dry for 2 days. I can easily and effectively clean the dry grass better with the brush. First, I will turn off the mower because safety at work concerns everyone. Before I turn my attention to the lawn robot, maybe a few more sentences about the charging station. You see, the charging station is housed here in a small garage. The charging station remains outside in the winter. I will clean the charging station. I will remove the leaves and the foliage from there. Then the charging station is clean, spotless, and tidy again. Then I come to the first fundamental question that people argue about. Power on or power off? What do I do in the winter? In my opinion, a charging station should be dismantled if it does not have a roof. A roof is important because it protects the station from weather conditions like rain, snow, and sunlight, which can damage the equipment and reduce its efficiency. Additionally, a roof ensures safety and comfort for users while they charge their vehicles. This plastic becomes relatively brittle at sub-zero temperatures and frost. If significant heavy snow accumulates on it, it can break quickly. I don't have the problem. The charging station is in the garage with a roof. That means the snow load and the snow pressure from rainwater is not a problem for me. With the roof, I can protect the charging station, calmly leave it outside. What about the power? I left the charging station outside for 2 winters without an active power supply. It has not harmed the charging station in any way whatsoever. It still works perfectly. Last year I had the power on in the winter. That certainly works just as well. Some may now wonder where the problem is. It is a very simple problem that lies behind it. The electronics in this charging station are susceptible to water damage, and therefore they are at risk. It doesn't have to be rainwater or a flood, such as a heavy downpour or a massive inundation of water. You must indeed be aware that condensate water forms at cool temperatures. If condensate settles in the electronics, it can lead to corrosion damage and even short circuits. When the charging station is connected to power, it will be self-consumption, and the waste heat that is generated, this condensate evaporates. In this manner, absolutely no damage can occur. I cannot assess whether it is really that serious. After 2 years where the charging station stood completely outside, I could not find any damage, but the manufacturers, in my case, is the Gardena. They naturally need to secure themselves. Therefore, there is also a clear guideline from Gardena. The charging station must, when it is in, whether to remain outside in the winter or not to be dismantled, to stay powered. That means the power plug stays, in my case, in the socket. You can see here is the cable, somewhat hidden. Everything is weatherproof and rainproof. I will leave the charging station outside. As for the power consumption, I have to say, one can certainly and indeed argue whether the 4 to 5 euros for 5 months are really a lot. Considering all the associated acquisition costs, I wholeheartedly and without hesitation accept that decision. If you do not simply have a roof over the charging station, do the following. The screws, provided that the charging station was even attached, simply unscrew it and disconnect the plug contacts at the back. Ideally, you should label the contacts. Then you can easily reconnect the charging station in the spring during the installation. Pull the cables out through the opening at the back. You can leave all the cables lying outside. Ideally, you should pack the cable ends in a small plastic bag and seals it with waterproof tape. This protects them from moisture. After that, you can remove the charging station when the cables and the ground anchors are removed. Carefully dismantle and store dry and frost-proof. safely together with the lawn robot. A small tip on the side, the lawn robot must be able to survive the winter while charged. My lawn robot has never had problems with the battery. After storing it away in October, I still had it in February after 5 months in the basement. A fill level of approximately over 95%. For weaker batteries, it is advisable to recharge the lawn robot over the winter. If the charging station is outside during frost, that's bad for the battery. If you have taken the charging station into the basement, you can easily charge the robot. Everyone ultimately has to indeed decide for themselves how they would like it. That's enough about the charging station. Now let's take care of the robot. You can see it here. I'll take it to another place for now. It's too windy here. The beautiful season of autumn has begun. I will now begin to clean the lawn robot. You don't need many tools for cleaning the lawn robot. I have a very old kitchen brush and a sponge with a fine side and a rough side. And furthermore, I have a very old hand brush. That has been absolutely entirely sufficient to remove the grass from the underside. The dry grass clippings that are stuck there can be relatively easily removed with a brush. I do the finishing work very carefully and thoroughly with the sponge and the hand brush. If you have coarse dirt on the lawn robot, it is also advisable to clean the whole thing with compressed air. With a compressed air gun that you connect to your air pressure compressor. I will do that later. What you should definitely not do, to clean the robot with water, using a water jet or even the high pressure cleaner. The manufacturer absolutely advises against this for this lawn robot. To avoid any potential damage, the lawn robot may only be carefully wiped down with a damp cloth. Under absolutely no circumstances whatsoever with water. The lawn robot is now lying on its back like a beetle. I will now very carefully and slowly use the air pressure gun. Blow clean thoroughly and assist carefully with the brush, so that this rough dirt comes off just a little bit more. The grass clippings also like to get stuck here on the wheels, really big pieces. They are still damp and moist despite the 2 days of drying time.
Scrubbed again with the brush. As you can see, there are still small remnants sticking. I can't get rid of that anymore. A damp cloth would definitely work. However, I am satisfied with the result. That's enough for me. I don't need to do much more. In the next step, I will also detach the blades as well. And then the robot can go into hibernation for a considerably extended period of time. To detach the blades, you only need a screwdriver. Either a Phillips screwdriver or a flathead screwdriver, such as a common household tool. With this, you can simply and efficiently remove the blades by effortlessly loosening these screws. Please be aware, the blades can still be very sharp even after the season. Depending on how often you have changed them in between, it is not without danger indeed if you get your hands in there and cut yourself. This can often cause unsightly wounds. I will now carefully loosen the screws to show you this in detail. As you can clearly observe, as you can see here on this screw, the entire grass is hanging on it. In this particular instance, the grass can be easily removed. Then the screw is reusable. You don't necessarily have to throw away the screw. The blade indeed somehow sticks to the plate due to the wet grass. When you are mowing the lawn, both the wet grass and the dry grass tend to accumulate and get stuck underneath the blade. This happens because the grass clippings, whether they are moist or dry, can easily adhere to the metal surface of. The blades are still good and sharp. I can use them again. I take an old, slightly rusted blade that I have used for many years, specifically for cleaning purposes. With great care and precision, I begin the meticulous. I usually do this at the workbench. It's safer that way. Here for the camera, I do this with my free hand. I could use this blade again now. I do this in the summer when I do it every 4 weeks. The blades are changed. Depending on how often the robot is in use, it's definitely not worth it for the winter. I will remove the blades then, and continue in the spring with a new set of blades. A brief and additional note about the blades. The original Gardena blades were completely and utterly used up after the first season. There was a starter pack included. I managed to use it until the beginning of the second season. The starter pack, which was quite comprehensive, included several replacement blades neatly packaged in a small transparent blister pack and a few other useful items. However, I was not satisfied with the replacement blades. These originally designed blades have, indeed, more actually pulled the grass than actually cut it. Moreover, there I saw the fraying at the tops of the grasses, gently and softly swaying in the gentle breeze, as if whispering secrets to the world. I then found another manufacturer. It wasn't that expensive either. The set is a pack of 30. It consists of approximately 30 blades and the screws in total. With this set, you can very easily, smoothly, efficiently, quickly, and effectively change all the blades 10 times in the season. I am still unscrewing the other 2 blades. Some screws come off comparatively speaking easily in a variety of situations. Other screws can indeed be considerably harder to unscrew in certain situations. This is simply also indeed because of the grass that is hanging there. The blades should normally and typically move freely and without any hindrance or obstruction on the circular rotating plate. Without any hindrance or obstruction. You have surely seen this in another video of mine. When I took the robot out of winter storage in the spring, I carefully mounted the blades and securely, ensuring everything was securely in place. The purpose is to mount the blades in such a way that they can move freely in order to ensure they are properly and efficiently mounted without any hindrance or obstruction. The grass on the rotating plate is now carefully, thoroughly, and meticulously removed with the brush. The sponge is now also currently being used at the moment.
My tip: always push against the plate from below. This turntable is relatively stable, but if you press too hard, remember, always carefully and gently when handling it, the plastic plate can break, or sometimes a slight imbalance occurs slightly in the plate. I am done. What else should I do, perhaps? The lawn robot remains turned off over the winter. I set a reminder in the calendar to remind me of important events and set an alert for upcoming tasks. Today is September 30th. I am making plans for January 30 or 31. A reminder, ideally on a weekend. After finishing my morning routine, I then proceed to head down to the dark and cool cellar where I carefully inspect the efficient and reliable lawn robot. I simply use the option to check the battery status through the options menu. There, the charging capacity is displayed clearly and prominently on the screen and easily visible. The lawn robot will return to the garden in March. When I read that the capacity has fallen from 100% to 20% or 30% in January, this indicates a weak or defective battery, which may lead to further issues. Then I place the lawn robot in the charging station and charge it back up to 100%. After that, it goes back to the cellar for the rest of the winter. I literally set this reminder for the end of January. Otherwise, the lawn robot simply remains frostproof in the cellar and can then be used, which is effectively and efficiently, in various ways, in the new season. Perform its services once more again. I hope I was able to give you useful tips. I am, of course, open to suggestions. Just write to me in the comments if you have any questions. Give me a subscription and a like. I would be happy about that. Until next time, see you later, bye.